Hello, hello, everyone. Greetings. This is Cindy Drozda, and I am here in my shop in Erie, Colorado. And welcome. I always love to see how many of you show up. So thank you all, everyone who's here. I saw a bunch of my friends checking in here. Oh, for the last several minutes, David Perez from Oregon, and Michael, you were at SWAT, and that was tons of fun. I just got back from SWAT a few days ago. Um, yeah, and great to talk with you and everyone else. Roger and Lowell and Chris and everyone who has joined us here. Aaron, yeah, Minnesota. Well, I guess it's probably great weather there right now. And we appreciate all of you coming to hang out with us. Ken, great to see y'all here. And so I'm here to talk about some tools I bought at SWAT and also to answer your questions. So if you have a question about something, um, and yeah, it was great seeing everyone at SWAT. If you didn't make it, then you should go next year. And Connie, great to see you here. I wonder what time it is out there. It's something like, oh, maybe it's only 8 a.m. in New Zealand, but it's tomorrow, Saturday morning out there. Yeah. Oh, and Hans, great to have you from out there, and Jim from Oregon. Cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So anyway, yeah. Put your questions in the chat, and I will do my best to get to them. Uh, how hot was it at SWAT? Well, it was freezing because we were in this convention center or in the restaurant or in somebody's car all the time, and it was, they really like their air conditioning down there, so it was freezing. If you went outside, it was hot, but we didn't spend much time outside. So I was wearing a jacket most of the time. Uh, Lip sync is off. Well, I don't know. There's nothing I can really do about it. Here we have the internet and the streaming software and my switching software and all these things, and they combine, and then there's your internet service at your house, and so all I can do really is apologize if it isn't great. Oh, John was there telling jokes at SWAT. That was lots of fun. Oh, and if any of you saw Stuart and Mike do their Battle of the Bowls, that was great fun. Anyway, so let's get on with some stuff here. I am going to show you some stuff I got at SWAT. And one of the things I learned at SWAT was I went to Todd's demo on using the hook tool, and I'm gonna start practicing with that. And so I'm gonna show you what I learned a little bit there. All right, so good stuff. Uh, yeah, that was fun. That was well worth going to SWAT just for that. But if you didn't get there, look on my YouTube channel, and Todd and I did a live stream of the whole demo, so you can watch it on there. And yeah, it was loads of fun. Apologies for the video quality. We were just using our iPads. This was not a professional videography thing, but hey, we did it. All right, so what did I get at SWAT? All right, so the first thing I did was I bought some wood, or kind of wood. I got some of these. These are hybrid blanks with these little, I think they're spruce cones. I got them from Amalgam Mutt Blanks. And I like this one because it's got a little bit of natural edge. Maybe I'll use that. Anyway, just a little fun stuff. Like I don't have enough wood, right? Yeah, of course. And I saw this guy floating around. Grit grip. It's sandpaper. Um, of course, it's my color, which was, I'm not going to admit that I bought it just for the color, but you can make your own choice there. It is double layer with kind of like some fabric in between, so it's a little stiffer. It rolls fairly well, like to make a radius. It's not quite as smooth as the single layer stuff. And one thing I did was I ripped a couple of them apart and took the fabric out. And now we've got a little better of a roll, which I use for sanding little coves on finials and things. And I can use the edge, thinner edge, with this double-sided, you've got some edge thickness, and sometimes you don't want that. So anyway, we're going to try it. This is 400, which is my most commonly used grit. Oh, did I mention it's double-sided? Yeah, so that could be interesting too. And the grit is written on each piece. So I just got some 400 to try it, and I will do some evaluation here. Oh no! So Stu had his bowl on the raffle, and the winner dropped it. Well, okay, so now you got more than one bowl, huh? All right. So another thing that was SWAT for me this year was chucks, and I have a lot of these small Vicmark lever chucks. Had them for decades, and I love them. And they're lightweight, easy to use. I like the levers. And they have something they call long nose jaws. And these go down to like 23 millimeters, less than an inch. And contrast that with these are like the Vicmark version of the O'Donnell jaws by Axminster. So I'm going to be doing some checking it out to see whether this is stiff enough. I mean, there's a lot more steel here backing up the grip out on the very end. I'm also kind of liking the small diameter here, and the fact that you can see that the tenon is deeper, but it doesn't have as much. It's only this tiny little bit here, but it's we're not seeing that too well, are we? Maybe here we can see that you got a tenon depth of just over 5/16, which is about 7 millimeters, right? 7 millimeters. So contrast that with the 5 millimeter depth in the O'Donnells. Although I have to admit the 5 millimeter tenons are just fine, but so we'll check it out. It could be fun, and now I know that yeah, if you don't have Axminster O'Donnell, there is a Vicmark option. I got this from Branches to Bowls, which is a Vicmark dealer out of Canada, and that'll be something fun to play around with. And while I was there, I sold my one and only SK114 Axminster chuck, and I bought the SK100. Oh, it doesn't say that on there, does it? I was hoping to prove to you that this is an SK100, but it doesn't seem to have a label. Anyway, it's an SK100, which is the smaller Axminster chuck, and I have several of them already with the geared key, and I like them. And it came with the jaw slides, and I also bought a set of jaws, which is just a different set of jaws with a different option for a very small tenon that's long. It's got this dovetail here that is like 19 millimeters, 18 millimeters long, almost 3/4 of an inch. So that could be something interesting to do. This is a GK 100, right? Like Todd pointed out, because the way that works is a GK means it's a geared key. They didn't used to designate them that way, and I'm used to calling it SK100. It's a geared key, and this is one of those that could be converted. Okay, so here's something really cool. These have got their own slides on them, I've got several extra sets of slides. So that means that I've got the slides already mounted, and all I have to do is back out the slides all the way, and then I can put the new jaws in without having to deal with all those screws. But, oh, now that's as far as it'll go, because it's got a little screw that keeps it in place. And here's something. Thank you, Joe Fleming, for this idea. Here is something very, very cool. We got our key here. And the way it's constructed, it's got a round barrel, set screw, and this is something I learned many decades ago, how to pull tubing off of a how to pull plastic tubing off. Don't try to pull it, because you end up just with the Chinese finger trap thing. Pull it on its end. Okay, so we're going to get that off of there. And is it this one? Take the set screw. Well, just loosen the set screw, and this T-bar comes out. And now I can put it in a drill here. It's a 1/2 inch, 13 millimeters diameter, and that's the capacity of this chuck in my drill. And now I can, that's going this way. I can much quicker advance without all that wrist action. Because what I want to do is find that little screw down in there. And it's kind of hard to get to, and it's not tight. But if it was, there are a couple ways to deal with it. And I forgot to bring over the thing that Todd was using that was a great thing. He had a what do you call it? A nut driver to put over that. What I always used to use, though, is I'd take my crescent wrench and tighten the crescent wrench down, and this gives me leverage on that short end of the key. Anyway, get this key out of here. Oh, here's another thing. How do you, instead of having to go like this with all these turns on the key, I'm putting my thumb on top of it, and let's see if we can show it over here. I wanted to do that. And that unwinds my key. And so this screw was in that hole, stopping. See, the head of the screw protrudes up, and it stops the jaws from opening out past a certain point for safety. But if you want to change out your jaws, now I've got my I love this, my drill mounted key, and I can take out all 4 jaw slides one at a time and put my jaws back in. And we're going to start with number 1. And, you can kind of see when it starts to get to where, the little thing is going to be coming around to the scroll. And then we'll put number 2 in. When I see a little extra space here, that tells me that it's getting close to this one's engagement. Go on in there. I'll push it until it clicks and it's caught, and that went too far here, so I got to back it out a little bit. And then we'll take number 3 And number 4. And man, oh man, wasn't that cool? Yeah. So thank you, Joe Fleming. Great idea. However, not so easy if you have the square key, because that's a bigger diameter. So if I have this square key, I would have to either get a bigger drill motor, drill chuck, or maybe screw something. There's a tapped hole in the end, and I could maybe put a piece of tubing or something there, or I could mount this up in my metal lathe and I could turn down the end, which is what I'm probably going to do. So wasn't that fun? Yes, that was very, very cool. And next, I want to talk about the hook tool, and this is kind of a good time for a break. So if you have any questions here, so Todd's been in the chat covering what I was doing there. There's a screw, and so David, good question. Do you need that safety screw? Well, I everybody's in the CYA mode here, cover your you know what. So if you're a chuck manufacturer and you ship it that way, then you know that nobody is going to be stupid enough to, well, try to legislate common sense here. Nobody is going to be able to open the jaws so far that the scroll isn't engaged fully and it's not strong enough, or maybe even like one jaw is falling out and you turn the lathe on, it slings up and hits you in the face. Yeah, that's my feeling too, Chuck, lawyers. So anyhow, that's why they put it in there. But I personally have no use for it. And I love the way, I don't know if other manufacturers do it, but Axminster for sure, you can buy just the slides. And so I have for Axminster a bunch of jaws that are not in use all the time. And if I want a new pair of jaws, set of jaws, I can just unscrew them all, put the new ones in. It's a lot faster and easier and less frustration than trying to deal with all these 8 Allen wrenches, screws with chips in them. So there we are. So any other questions I missed here? And yeah, there is a red dot on the jaw slide. I think it's on number 4, right? Yeah. So the other thing you can do is you can be sure that you don't open your jaws past where the red dot is. And that actually opens them further than I would have ever said was okay. See that little there? So theoretically, you can open them this far. Boy, I wouldn't. I usually will never open my jaws past the slides just barely sticking out from the body. And that's my own personal safety thing. But apparently, engineering wise, you can open it further. All right, so I'm going to take a minute now. Allen driver in the drill works, yeah, for all the screws, you mean, I'm sure, Ken, right? So yes, indeed, that works very well. 2 chucks. A lot of us have way more than that. I need a chuck for every kind of jaws, but I don't really have that many. Yeah, I don't know what the Barracuda 2 is, but my personal feeling is Vicmark and Axminster are the top of the line chucks, and I don't have anything else at the moment. Well, I have a Record Power that I used recently. Oh, yes, Guy, very good, very good. You used the spindle gouge. I hope you're having some good fun with that. And have I ever tried mixing Emma's stuff with nail polish. I haven't, but I asked Emma and she said, yeah, it definitely works on nails. And I don't think you would mix it. I think what you do is you'd put your polish on, and just like gilding, right? You have to let your nails dry or they're kind of sticky for a while. So during the sticky phase, you sprinkle a little stuff on there. And Joe Fleming said he has gotten, for airbrushing, they're available little stencils for the nail art people. And so, yeah, except the fact that the nail polish takes a beating. And I wouldn't like to spend all day fiddling with my nails and then go out to the shop and, you know, have it all come off. So, but yes, KK, it definitely does work. And I haven't tried mixing the powders or flakes into a carrier like that and then painting it on something. I haven't tried that, but it could be a good thing. Uh, all right, Joe, you heard your name. Where are you? Are you not? You're not in the studio, are you? No. Yes, Joe. We are not taking your name in vain. But did you just get here, Joe? If you did, you gotta see this. Yes, indeed. So that was Joe's idea. And cool. Yeah, and Rat Pick, good to see you here. Vic Mark, yeah. The I I went I started with a Novichok and then I went all Vicmark about 30 years ago because I like their range of jaws, their open and close range for all of their jaws. They've got I don't know, the scroll just goes further in and out. So I have on my favorite Vicmark jaw set, which is their standard jaws, you can go all the way into like an inch and a quarter and all the way out safely with the slides not protruding out past the body of the chuck out to, I think it's over 2 inches, about 2 1/4. So yeah, I love the Vic Marks and they have proven to be long lasting, good quality and all of that. Oh, well, very good. Thank you, Joe, for donating stuff. I donated some stuff too. I don't know who won it though. Uh, yeah. That was Joe's first idea. Take your square socket driver, and wouldn't that work? But it's not the right size. It's not the same square. So if you could get or make a square ended thing that fit in the square keys receptacle, yeah, it would work just as well and maybe a little easier, in fact. Actually, it's not hard at all to find Vicmark jaws. Look up branches to bowls. They've got a huge selection. Woodworkers Emporium, I don't know if he's still in business. He used to have a huge selection. Craft Supplies usually has pretty good, although I haven't bought any from there for a while. Yeah, and so maybe somebody might want to go into production of this. Get a piece of round stock, 1/2 inch diameter, 13 millimeters, because it fits in most drills. Mill squares down to what was it Todd just said, it's 9 millimeters. So yeah, that would be perfect. Oh well, maybe they're not always in stock. So uh anyway, all right, so before we move on, I want to talk about a few things, and we're starting off with a little bit of stuff. Oh, yes. Well, let's see what tariffs do to the prices. Well, I don't know. So far, so good. We'll see. And Michael, great suggestion here. The Easy Chuck, uh, made by Easy Wood Tools, which has now been sold to somebody else. I forget who it is. The quick change jaw thing, that they have a toolless jaw change, and it's very fast and really nice, and they're made in America, or they used to be, and so those are very nice chucks too. I should have mentioned them in the same breath with Axminster and Vicmark. Oh, and yes, Carter and Son had new beading tools. kind of like the D-Way. Anyway, if you didn't go to SWAT, you missed a lot of new stuff and good stuff and fun stuff. And I came back from, it was in the low 90s, high 90s F when I left town. I came back and it was like 79 F. So if you love the heat, the hot weather like I do, I was a little bummed out because it seems like, but everybody around me is all ecstatic because it's not hot anymore. So here we are in Erie, Colorado, and I want to make a mention of where am I going here? I put things in the wrong order. I do these live streams every 2 weeks on Friday at this time. And that means my next one is going to be a sharing session. More on that in a minute. And you can subscribe using this QR code here, or let me put it in the comments. If you get on my newsletter, I send out a link to this, direct link to this session every 2 weeks. And I also send you all kinds of other stuff that I might happen to be doing. And my good friend Todd, who is here right now. Todd is here. How are we going to do this? Like this? There he is.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, everyone. Yeah.
So you're going to be next week.
Oh, yes, I am. I haven't thought about what I'm doing yet, so we'll figure that out over the weekend, and we'll get it posted and have some fun in the shop. Should be good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the cooler weather out there as well. So
yeah, everybody else is. I know it. So here is Todd's newsletter, and you can sign up for his, and the same kind of deal. You sign up for his newsletter and you get the link to these sessions plus a bunch of other things. And one of the upcoming things is that we do a thing together that's a Zoom sharing session. And it's going to be in 2 weeks on the date that I normally would be having my live stream. It's going to be Zoom instead. And this is an opportunity for you to show off something you made, ask a question of us or anyone else. Tell us about your latest aha moment, process problems, etc. So
they're a lot of fun. And so Zoom sessions allows us to put your piece up on camera so everybody can see it. And we get a lot of inspiration from those sharing sessions. So really enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely. Inspiration from everyone. It's just tremendous. The energies that there is there. And yeah. And so being Zoom, you also have a microphone. It's not just chat. And to answer Gordon, we do both record our live streams, like today. It's being recorded. But the sharing sessions are not recorded. It's kind of a privacy issue with all these different people showing their faces on camera. And so we just prefer not to have it be public. You got to be there. In other words, this is one of those got to be there things.
Yep.
So, yeah. And what else is coming up here? Well, I guess I'm going to say bummer that Todd is not going to be here in Rocky Mountain.
Yeah. We have been in the past. It just we couldn't swing it this year, but we'll see if we can twist Shelley's arm next year.
Yeah, and Rocky Mountain was a under 200 people attendance symposium, which for a vendor that's like, you're not going to sell much to 150 people. But now it's up over 300, so it's becoming a real-time event, which means it attracts more vendors and we get more demonstrator rooms because we have more people to accommodate, and so everybody wins. It's becoming a really good thing. So I hope you all will check it out. And bye, Todd. He's not going to Rocky Mountain, so well, I wish you were though. We need Woodturning Tool Store to be there because they would add a lot. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Mary Alice, put some pressure on those guys. Why don't you? Yeah. Oh, and anyone who wants to be there is wishing Todd was there. Joe will be there though. So this is cool, fun stuff. And speaking of Joe and Todd, now if Joe was in the studio here, we would bring him up and do the multiple thing, because we do a thing called vendor showcase, and the next one is November 15th. This is Joe and Steve Worcester and me and Todd and Lyle Jameson and John Jordan in spirit, even still. Um, and we do specials and mini demos and a charity auction for pieces we've made, often collaborations. And I don't have it right here with me, unfortunately, but the collaboration of uh, Emma and Todd and me will be auctioned at Vendor Showcase. Oh,
It,
yay. Cindy will be at Rocky Mountain. That's
nice.
cool. Wow.
That collaboration between the three of us, that bowl sitting on your booth at SWAT and my booth at SWAT, got a lot of attention. So it was pretty cool to see in person.
Yeah, nice piece.
Yeah.
And so it'll be auctioned at Vendor Showcase on the 15th of November. So good stuff there. And I wanted to talk a bit about some other things I do. And what I mean is, you all see me here every 2 weeks doing these free sessions. And another thing I do is I do full length, long instructional project sessions, at least 3 hours long, a full project. And I have recently done this gilded sea urchin box, which is here. This is one of them. And this is a sea urchin, and I showed some gilding techniques with a variety of materials, including metal leaf and powders and flakes. Finial lid with a jewel inside, my trademark thing. And the making the sea urchin into a box can be done a couple different ways. I have often done it where I just finish the inside of the sea urchin, but this one is done with an insert that joins with the base. And so you have your box, and this is in fact holly, as you thought. Hollywood. Yes. So there's the skeleton of this, and I provide drawings for these projects. Here's another one that is a nut and bolt box, and in this session, I showed cutting threads with a threading jig, a thread cutting jig. I have done thread chasing in the past and threaded inserts in the past, but this is a nut that threads on. And of course, a couple of washers. And then the head of the bolt threads on also, making it a little stash box. So this one is another session I recently did, cutting threads with a jig. I have plans with dimensions for most of these things that I do, all the parts for the size that I did in the session, and written step by step, plus, of course, the full length video. And so those are what else I do. Like if you come to these sessions and you love watching and you learn a lot, well, I'm going to encourage you to check out these that you have to pay for. Yes, of course, you have to pay for them because I'm trying to do this for a living. I'm not retired. And those are where I put all of my energy. If you've been to one, you know what I'm talking about. Really a tremendous learning experience. And so, what I'm going to do today is I am going to raffle off a ticket to the video for the nut and bolt box, and it's all in pieces, the sea urchin, gilded sea urchin. So we have 2 winners, 1 for each, and we're going to do that toward the end. But I want to get working on this hook tool right now. So stand by for that. It'll be good. And I really do encourage you to, doesn't cost very much, try one of my full-length IRDs. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Pete knows, he's gone to lots of them. So yeah, so I watched Todd do a hook tool demo at SWAT. And you know how sometimes you see something over and over again and it never really connects with you until suddenly it's time. And that was it. So I got a hook tool, and let's see, maybe we want to start with this thing here. And we're going to refocus. When you get a hook tool, you get this little thing. It's a little casting. It's sharpened with about a 60-degree bevel on it, and I'll show you how I learned how to sharpen it. This is all Todd's thing here. And Aaron, I saw your comment from earlier that you have some you made, and I have a couple that were made not by me but by other people. Alan Lacer has shown how to do that. So that's another option. Make your own hook tool, forge it. This particular one, if you don't want to get into forging your own, you can just buy this one. There are a couple of others commercially available as well. This one is the Michael Hosaluk Hook Tool, and because I didn't really want to do all the forging, I just bought this one. So it comes like this, and you have to mount it somehow. So you can mount it in any number of bars with the appropriate hole down the middle and some way to hold them in a handle. I have one that's smaller in diameter. This is the one that Woodturning Tool Store sells for this purpose, and I just bought this one because it's easy, but it's nice to have a little bit of heft to it. So this one, this bar is fairly long, and it's 3/4, 19 millimeters in diameter. So it's going to give you some length and some weight that will help with controlling the tool. I'm going to take this end and put it into a long handle so that I have actually, we'll go this way, a total length of about, see, this is a 16-inch handle, more or less, maybe closer to 18, and then there's another 10 inches on the bar. So I've got a substantial long and heavy handle here, and it does help to control the tool. So now I have my hook tool assembled, and I have prepped a piece of wood here. They always say the hook tool is for hollowing end grain. What they mean by that is parallel to the bedways grain. It, like any cutting edge, likes to cut the side grain, face grain. So when you're hollowing a piece with the grain parallel, you're going to be cutting the side grain on the side of your opening here and on the outside, like a spindle. And this tool is designed to be where you cut with this bevel moving through the side grain. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remember that I didn't want these set screws to interfere like they are now with the tool rest. So I'm going to flip this over, and I need to focus. Which camera is that? This one? Yeah. So, focus. I got cameras everywhere. Let's focus there. Okay. And I need to turn this over. I put it together wrong. And what I mean by wrong is when this tool is in the orientation that it will be when it's cutting. Let's go back over here. The set screws were sticking out on the tool rest. And I'm thinking Todd probably told me about this before and I forgot. But there's a little flat, and I want the set screws on the flat. And I want the set screws to be on the top of the tool so that when it's cutting, they are not interfering with the tool rest. While we're in this position, this is a good time to go over how am I going to sharpen this tool. And what I'm going to do is I have a half round diamond file, and I'm going to hone the inside. So what I'm doing here is I'm contacting the bottom, and I'm moving the hone in place so that it is rubbing on the entire surface. In other words, I don't want to be rounding over the cutting edge, and there might be some of that happen, but I'm going to just sharpen it with this hone, and if it starts to feel dull, do it again. And that's the way you're supposed to sharpen this tool. You could put it on the grinder like he does when he makes them up, but it wouldn't last as long that way. All right, so let's see what we could do here. I want enough space between the piece of wood and the tool rest so that it's not going to fall off, so that the bar is always fully on the tool rest. And I want the height of the tool rest to be where the cutting edge is going to cut on center, and it's going to cut right about here. So that is kind of cutting right about on center. I'm going to lower it just a bit though, because it'll be a tiny bit more comfortable if it's a little lower. And I'm going to start with the tool in what Todd calls the 6 o'clock position. That means that the tool is in a neutral position. Maybe you can see it here. It's straight up and down. The camera angle is weird. What about this one? So you can see it here. Its little scoop is pointing at the ceiling. When I use it, I'm going to be trying to cut right on this bottom area, and I am going to be maybe twisting it a little bit to get the bevel to engage. If I twist it a lot, it starts taking a really big bite, and that's not so good. So this is basically a gouge with the handle in a different orientation. And so I'm going to turn the lathe on here and start the cut. And the first cut I'm going to make is I got to face off the end. Now you might think, oh, face off the end with a gouge, right? But you can do it with the hook tool. So that's what I'm going to do. And we are about to see some great shavings, but this is dry wood, so it's not going to be like you sometimes see with these things. So we're going to go at about, don't I have, there it is. We're going to go at about 12 to 1500 RPM. That usually seems to work pretty well. And I'm getting it set up here with the scoop facing the ceiling. And I've got a little bit of a chip, and now I'm rolling it just a little bit. And I'm skimming across the end here. Now this is just like a gouge where the bevel directs the cut. And so the orientation of the cutting bevel gives me the parallel across the end cut that I want. You can see that here, or is it here? Here. If I want to change and go like make a dome, I'm going to pull the handle back toward me and deepen the cut. Maybe I can get my tool rest a little closer and have a bit less chatter. It is chattering a bit. Probably it doesn't want to take quite that heavy of a cut. So that gave me a dome across the end. If I want a scoop across the end, I'm moving the handle away from me. And what that does is it gives me a scoop out. This is exactly like what you do with a bowl gouge if you were trying to get a certain shape out of it. So now I'm going to just get across the end here and clean it off. Oh, okay, so another thing is, what about the twisting when I'm coming across the end grain like this? It doesn't make any difference. You notice I've got it twisted a lot more than I would if I was cutting on inside the bowl. And if I have it not twisted at all, I'm still getting a cut. Because what the twist does is it changes the shear angle of the cut. And it actually will, if I give it a little shear angle like this, cuts cleaner. And we're going to just cut off what will be the rim of our bowl. And yeah, we get some pretty nice shavings here. So let's talk about hollowing out the inside of the bowl here. I'm starting with my scoop facing the ceiling, and I'm pulling across a little, and then I'm opening up, I'm twisting open a little bit, and I'm going to swing the handle away from me. Swinging the handle away from me gives me a scooped out bowl shape. This wood here is madrone, and it's reasonably dry. And I prep the blank by drilling a hole. Oh, you couldn't see much of anything there. I was supposed to be on this one. Right. Let's get rid of me here. All right, so what I just did there that you couldn't see was I've got my cut and I'm swinging my hand away from me to create a bowl shape. And this is great, but that wasn't what I wanted there. I wanted this one. It doesn't get all the way to the bottom. And the Forstner imprint there in the bottom, I got to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is angle it a little. Now remember, what I'm doing here is exactly what I was doing on the rim. I'm actually going across the end grain here. I'm cutting side grain because the side of the cut is the side grain, face grain. But I can give it a little bit of a twist. And what I'm doing is pulling it with my hand. And I'll go on the other side of center here. Can you see what's happening? I'm going on the other side of center and I'm getting a little flying saucer there. And then cutting through to my side of center. And that gets the bottom. I've got a little bit of a twist to it. Like if you called straight up and down 6 o'clock, I'm at about 6:30. And I'm pushing the handle away from me. To create the curve. It's a combination of swing and feed rate, as it is with the gouge when you're doing a push cut with a gouge. So a question here. The bevel at the bottom, the bevel is parallel to the surface I'm cutting, just like it was out here on the rim. The bevel is parallel to the surface I'm cutting. So that means the bevel is perpendicular to the axis of the lathe when I have the tool right here on the bottom. But as soon as I get a little ways away from the bottom, I'm going to swing the handle to create the curve. So now what if I wanted to swing to get an OG curve on the inside? This is what Todd did in his demo. So what I'll do there is I'll pick up my cut here. And when I get to where I want the transition to be, well, that was too much of a bite there. What I will do is pull the handle back toward me to create the convex part of the OG. So we've got a concave transitioning to a convex. here. The convex right now is very much being pulled across the tool rest. It's not like a push cut where I push and let the gouge float. I'm really doing it all with pulling. So we now have a pretty nice finish. I could work on that bump in the middle, and that's a tough one to get out. The bump in the middle. I might ultimately feel like, okay, I'm not going to get this bump in the middle out with the hook tool. I'm going to just try to get a smooth curve with the hook tool though. And I'm pushing the handle away from me pretty fast. I'm trying here to pick up the cut and then blend the cut with what I've already got. Let's see if we've got some questions about this stuff here. It is very much like the Japanese, and I think the Russians too. And they use it on the outside of the piece, which does work. I want to show you a couple of things, and we're running close to time here. Yeah, you can use this kind of a cutter like a gouge anywhere you might use a gouge, but sometimes it's more awkward. It's the inverse of cutting a bowl with a push cut. Yeah, you're swinging it in the other direction, but what you're doing is swinging the handle to keep the bevel pointing in the direction you want the cut to go. It's just that with a bowl gouge, the cutting edge is on the other side of the handle, so it's different. And this is not green, but it would probably be much easier if it was. So if you have a, oh yes, this would be the tool to use in the longest shaving contest, and maybe not on the inside either, maybe on the outside. Yeah. And yeah, great cut and great shavings. Thing is though, where would you use this? And did somebody make a, okay, what's the advantage over a spindle gouge or bowl gouge? I don't know yet. If you said spindle gouge and you're thinking like hollowing out a box, and what I would do is I'd use my spindle gouge wing and I'd draw the wing into the side grain to hollow my box. I don't get a very clean cut that way, and this gives a nice clean cut. So maybe that's it. I haven't used this enough to know where it excels. And what does it do with face grain turning? Well, it's not ideal, but you could do it because it works like a gouge, but it doesn't tend to be as smooth of a cut with all the big shavings and all that when you're trying to cut face grain orientation. That's when the grain of the wood is perpendicular to the bed of the lathe. And I haven't done much of that. I tried a little bit over at Todd's shop, and it really doesn't tend to make a very smooth cut, and it's hard to keep it from bouncing. So I don't think that's what you would want to do with this tool. Okay, but so here's a couple other things. First of all, can you use it on the outside? You can, although, and I'm going to do it just to prove that you can, but it isn't something I think I would really choose to do. I think I would prefer to use a bowl gouge on the outside, and it's mostly because it ends up being real awkward. We got to have lots of tool rest clearance. And now, okay, I've got this bevel here, just like I've got this bevel here, and I'm going to do the same thing with it. And that is, I'm going to try to cut right about on center, and I'm going to move my handle until I get a cut, and then I'm going to push into the wood. Right now I'm basically truing it up. if I want a bit of a shape to it, oh, I better move my tool rest. If I want a bit of a shape to it, I'll swing the handle away from me, and that gave me a convex shape. I could get a concave shape by swinging the handle back toward me. So you see, I can do the outside, but I don't know if this is really the optimum thing. Oh, hey, Emma Cook is here. Yay, Emma. Great to have you here. It's easier to make a convex bottom. It's easier to make, I would say, a concave bottom. The shape it does best is a scooped out bowl shape. It does not do particularly well in making a straight side like a box or a flat bottom like a box. I mean, you do the flat bottom, but that transition, it doesn't tend to cut. And why? Let's look at that. If I'm trying to cut with this tool, and I want to cut on a wall, straight wall, to have this bevel oriented parallel, that didn't do it. How about this one? Parallel to the wall, I would have to have the bevel way over here. Let's see if I can show it here. Because what I want is this bevel parallel to the bed of the lathe. And that is, well, if I go very deep, it's going to hit the other wall. But it's just particularly awkward. So it's not ideal for any shape other than a scooped out kind of a, maybe you'd call it a bowl shape, like I was making there, right here. So scooped out bowl shape, that's what it does. Okay, so yeah, concave is what you meant. Indeed, that's what it's good at, and I'm not sure if it's good at anything else. But yes, you can get pretty straight across the bottom. You just will then want to transition into a concave curve, or, well, that OG curve, that was concave in the bottom, transitioning to convex at the rim, and that works too. So the next question is, what about burls? And I'm going to try something here that, I did try doing it on a little burl piece, but today we're going to try this. This is a, let's see, are we here? Which camera are we on here? Oh, this one. Oh, that's what it is. No focus. Okay. We're going to use a natural edge burl bowl piece here. Joe's got an idea. If I rotate the tool some more, I could get a better handle angle. Yeah, I probably could do that. And another thing is that there are other people who make hook tools with slightly different configurations of the hook that are designed for making different shapes. And so, yes, there are lots of options I am not doing today, but I'm trying to look for what the hook tool is good for. I'm not really trying to see if I could do everything in the world with a hook tool. I think it's going to have its good things and its less good things. So this should be interesting, says Scott. Indeed, it should be interesting. The interesting part is going to be the natural edge rim. And now I did some work on a burl, and it cuts just fine. But what's going to happen for the interrupted cut? We're both about to find out here right now. And what's going to be the best way to watch this, I'm wondering. So first thing I'm going to say is one thing about these tools is that to get this bottom orientation to work, I will eventually run into the side, the rim of the shape. So I'm going to run into trouble here pretty quickly, actually. But one thing I can do is scrape right here with the tool vertical. What I discovered on another piece was that trying to make this where the wall on the inside approaches parallel to the bed, just like I was showing a minute ago, talking about doing it on a box, the handle angle is so far out here that it's not easy to do. And so what I did right here was I was scraping with the tool right here, meaning I had it in the 6 o'clock position and I was just scraping the surface. It did okay. But really, if I were going to do this with a burl or anything, I wouldn't try to make such a deep, straight-sided bowl. I would try to make it more of an open bowl shape like the piece of madrone I did, or an OG. So, so yeah, I see that I got a pretty good smooth cut in here right to about this point where I started scraping, and it's not as clean of a cut. So let's do one more cut with the burl, just because we can, not because we necessarily think this is the best way to do a bowl of this shape, but it is possible. And we're going to do a light cut here with the tool rotated, twisted to about 630. And now we have to really, really swing the handle and come through to join the cut there. So parallel walls on a face grain bowl also requires the start of the cut to start with the handle way over the other side of the lathe if you're using a bowl gouge. And yeah, so it's kind of the opposite. But yeah, I don't think you would want to do steep parallel sided bowls with this particular hook tool. But I think what you would want to do is nice smooth bowls like this. I mean, that's a pretty good surface. It's not perfect, but I might I'll take my my trusty negative rake scraper, and this will clean up any gouge ripples and such. All right, there's my hook tool practice for today. And what I'm going to do next is a drawing. And we'll see if we have some other questions in there, but let's see. For the drawing, I am going to be giving away 2 video access tickets. One for the cutting threads with a jig, which is the nut and bolt box and the pill box, and one that is the gilded sea urchin box. So we're going to enter. Where did it go? Here it is. So you'll enter by typing in the comments #video_fun. Okay? And that'll get you in the drawing. I'll see if we have some questions, and that'll get us. Now, wait a minute. Oh, I better start. I got to click here. All right, now you can start doing it. If you entered before, do it again. And that's like this, or like this. As long as you don't have any spaces and you do have the hashtag, we got it. So did anybody by chance have an actual question? I thought there were some in here. I thought there were some, but we got a lot of entries that are closing it off. Here's one. What's the difference between a hook tool and a ring tool? Not much. The ring tool is a hook tool that goes all the way around, but it cuts the same way, being that it's cutting with a bevel just like a gouge, but the orientation is different. And a ring tool, as I understand it, is capable of contacting a lot of wood and making a really, really heavy cut. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult to control. I remember early in my wood turning, I was over at a friend's house and he had a ring tool and he handed it to me, and I tried to present it to the wood in a way that I think I had like the bevel facing straight up at the ceiling. And he said, "Whoa, if you contact it like that, you're going to blow it up for sure." So, that was my only ring tool experience ever. And I could probably make a finial with this tool, but it's not ideal for that. So I'm going to stick with other tools for finials. And John, you're right. They cut very similar. The ring tool might trap the shavings. I don't really think that's the biggest problem with it, but you'll also see that they have ring-like and cup cutter similar hollowing tools like the Proform, and the Raleigh Monroe has one that have a cover over them to limit how wide of a shaving it's capable of cutting, and that allows you to use it on the inside of a hollow vessel. And I have some of those to practice with too. All right, so if you have a question, go ahead and type it in. Well, well, Joe, if you need to buy something, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm here for. We got any questions here? Oh, yeah, I'm not sure if that was, I don't know what that was. I'm looking for actual questions. Okay, for the urchin box, why use a hollow inside cylinder rather than a small diameter rod? I'm not quite sure what the question is, but when I did the urchin box, I wanted the cavity, the box part, to be wood instead of the sea urchin. I wanted the lid removable, and I wanted the shell not to be part of the structure, not relying on the strength of the shell for the structure. So all the wood parts fit together, giving me a box, a lid, and a foot, with the sea urchin captivated but not relied upon. So that was where I was at there. What Vicmark chuck do I like the best? The small one. My favorite is the VM90, which is the lever action one, the Tommy bar one, but they have a VM100, I believe it is. That's the key version of that. And that to me is, well, of course, look at the size work I usually do. That to me is the most useful chuck in my shop. The sweet spot on the hook tool, I think, is kind of more right in the middle, maybe sort of toward the top, but the very top of it, I have not contacted yet, and I don't know everything about it. The double bevel scraper that I used making the parallel side of the box in the sea urchin demo, and I do have that one. I think it's not on my website yet, but I do have them, and I need to get that done, don't I? Yes, it's a tool that cuts on the side of a steep parallel walled box. And thank you, John, for this little reminder. A public service announcement. Yes, I do sell tools. Chuck, you're going to need to do that over. You got a few letters missing. We got any more? So Todd can answer this one. The Woodcut Pro Form. I think they do different things, but maybe give Todd a call sometime, and it might be a complicated one. A small diameter rod or dowel with flared ends does the same thing as what? I'm not quite sure. Maybe that would be like to do a sea urchin box. I need more explanation there. Okay, so Todd's got a little information in the chat here. But I think what we're going to do is a drawing. How about that? Okay. We'll do, wait, before I get over there, I got to go over here and go over here. And now we can do this. And there is my drawing. We have 135 entries so far. So there's 136. If you want to enter, get your entries in. We're going to be drawing for 2 video access tickets. The first one is for cutting threads with a jig. And that was making this, let's get over here and show it. Nut and bolt box where the lid comes off and it's a hollow box, and this is a cool thing. Also the nut and the bolt head. This is something you can do real easily with a jig, is you can make threads that fit each other. This is the straight-sided box I was talking about. So we're drawing a ticket for that video. And when I click the draw button, we're going to have a winner. So let's get that done. Okay. Good luck, everyone. This is for access to the Cutting Threads with a Jig video. And if you already got that video, then you can get something else. Hey, Walter Irdekins. Congratulations, Walter. A longtime supporter of all my stuff. I appreciate you very much. All right, so now we're going to do another draw. This time it will be for the sea urchin box video. And here is my sea urchin box with all of its parts. Let's get here. I made the parts, the sea urchin openings, round so that I could fit a cylindrical box in with a dowel on it that fits in the hole in the pedestal, and then we fit a lid to it, and the lid has a jewel. There are some gilding techniques in this video for using chameleon flakes and powders and metal leaf, including a 24 karat gold, which is really really something else. There's nothing quite like 24 karat gold, whether it be gold leaf or all gold. So I think we're ready for another drawing. This one is for access to the Gilded Sea Urchin box video. So I'll click and we'll draw again. Good luck, everyone. Good luck. We have a winner. We have a winner. Yay, Jennifer. I don't know what your last name is, but I see Jennifer online at a lot of things. So thank you for supporting all of us online people, and congratulations. Thanks for being here. And thank you, everyone, for being here and hanging out with me today. I always have a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed it, seeing me flail around with the hook tool and learn some new stuff. So congratulations to the winners, and congratulations to all of us, because we all win when we share wood turning together. So how's that for a nice closing statement? Thank you all so much. I will see you next time.